Cooperative games have always been an interesting category to me, because they involve different objectives and circumstances where you need to work together, sometimes with one other player or up to 4 players in a total. No matter the genre, these games intrigue me a lot, so in today's video I want to talk about the top 10 co-op games and see which games are the best within this category. But before we begin, I want to shout out this video's thumbnail maker, Ada Erica, who made an excellent job using the Hepodix theme around this illustration, so huge thank you, Ada. Her Instagram link will be found in the video description for more great illustrations, but now let's start the countdown, so sit down and enjoy. Let's start the list with Overcooked 2, a little bizarre but well-received cooking game co-developed by Team 17 and Ghost Town Games. The idea is to prepare and cook different orders in absurdly layouted restaurants, as you're able to gather, chop and cook ingredients, assemble them on plates and serve them, as well as do the dishes afterwards. The gist of Overcooked 2 is that coordination is important, as up to 4 players needs to complete these meals really quickly, as you might bump into each other while doing these tasks that can cause problems. Depending on the stage, there are different layouts and elements such as moving floors, portals, moving walkways and impassable fires, which adds to the variety and complexity. While the first Overcooked game is also great, the sequel expands upon the mechanics and overall execution, and therefore Overcooked 2 takes the 10th spot in this list. At number 9 spot, let's talk about Risk of Rain 2, a roguelike third-person shooter developed by Hoopu Games. It follows a similar approach from the first entry, but the main difference is that the sequel is 3D instead of 2D. The idea is to progress several levels while killing enemies, acquiring loot and accessories from chests you obtain, and towards the end, fight a boss and reach the teleporter that takes you to the next area. The variety comes from different playable characters, items and game modifiers, which adds to the longevity of this game, and it is quite enjoying experience if you're playing with a friend or up to 4-player squad. But as the gameplay gets more complex when proceeding further, you need to be cautious due to the fact it's a roguelike game and is basically a game over if you and your friends wipe out during a session. Moving to the 8th spot, we have Portal 2, that is a FPS puzzle platform game developed by Valve. It's a praised sequel to the Portal franchise, as the puzzle elements gets more complex, and the main idea is to create 2 portals where the player can travel back and forth, send objects in and out, and therefore it creates this very unique puzzle experience. Alongside the single-player campaign, Portal 2 features the 2-player cooperative mode where each player gets their own portal gun, and thus there are some innovating and complex puzzles, especially later on, so for anyone who is looking to have some puzzle solving with a friend, I can highly recommend you to try Portal 2 co-op mode yourself. At number 7 spot, let's talk about Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle, that is a turn-based role-playing video game developed by Ubisoft Milan. Mario and his friends teams up with 4 rabbits dressed up like them in order to battle against enemy rabbits who stands out on their way, and honestly my first impression of this game was pretty mixed, but upon digesting deeper, I really think it's a solid strategy game and it can be played alone or with a friend. The actual gameplay involves taking turns for each of your character, as you can move, attack and use abilities which come in handy in different situations, but it's also as important to hide behind blocks and position yourself well enough so you won't get into trouble. Most of the encounters requires you to wipe the opposing team, but there are also missions where you need to reach a specific area or escort another character. As the game progresses, you also get new upgrades and weapons, which adds to the variety, and for anyone who enjoys games like the XCOM series, I can highly recommend you to try Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle, because it offers similar gameplay elements. It's just a more light-hearted twist to the same turn-based tactical role-playing genre. Let's take a look at number 6 spot, as we have Diablo 3, a hack-and-slash action role-playing game made by Blizzard Entertainment. The gameplay of Diablo 3 consists of 4 acts, and 5th act with the Reaper of Souls expansion, where you fight enemies either alone or together with friends to kill enemies and therefore proceed further. While there are a lot of satisfying things here, such as different classes, the most satisfying part is to obtain new loot, which grows your character stronger, and in co-op mode it's also being executed properly. The variety to the gameplay comes from different difficulty levels, enhanced quest system, as well as random level and encounter generator, so the game provides a ton of replayability as well. For all the hack and slash lovers out there who enjoy some good time with friends and solid multiplayer experience, Diablo 3 is a great option to try out. Next at number 5 spot we have a game co-developed by Big A Productions and LucasArts called Herc's Adventures. And I am pretty sure next to no one knows about this game due to its limited release on Sega Saturn and the original PlayStation. Does anyone remember this game? Well, personally, I have a huge nostalgia towards this game as I've completed it several times and I'd pop this banger in any time given, because it's such a good hidden gem. This game can be played alone, but it's so much more fun with a friend, as you're on a quest to defeat Hades and save the goddess of nature, Persephone. At the start, you get to choose one of the 3 Greek heroes, Herc, Atlanta or Jason, as each of them provides some uniqueness to the table, and as you proceed further, you pick up resources such as weapons like spears, bombs and Zeus lightning bolts, as well as healing resources, gyros, that are very useful too. You need to do quests for Greek gods such as Athena, Hera and Poseidon in order to proceed further, as the climax escalates in the underworld where you fight against the Hades, who's been plotting all the evil schemes around Greece. It's also a surprisingly difficult game, because if you die 5 times it's a game over for you and you need to start over, so it's good to plan your moves carefully. I just really hope that this game will be re-released to newer platforms due to its great overall quality, but despite the limited availability right now, Herc's Adventures takes the 5th spot in my list. At number 4 spot we have a great yet legendary pair of games made by Valve, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. In these games, the idea is to cooperate with 3 of your friends, set during the aftermath of an apocalyptic pandemic, as the overall setting is very dark and sinister, but it works for the multiplayer survival horror genre. You fight against hordes of zombies with different arsenal of weaponry, as the survivors needs to proceed to safe houses which act as checkpoints in these games. There are multiple chapters in both games, which adds to the longevity overall, as the gameplay is easily approachable yet fun times with friends, and therefore these 2 FPS games deserves the 4th spot in my list. Next we have a game that's very likely one of the most influential and known indie games in the market, Cuphead, that's developed by Studio MDHR. It's basically a run and gun game with several regular levels and a ton of boss fights as well, and oh boy, it's really difficult yet rewarding experience when you proceed further in this game. Cuphead can be played alone, but if you accompany second player who controls Mugman, it's also very fun to cooperate with a friend. The game's soundtrack is really jazzy-like excellence, and the art style is heavily inspired by the 1930s cartoons, which makes it sound and look quite breathtaking honestly. I even played this game completely in my channel a couple years ago, which is telling how much I personally like it, and for anyone who is looking for some difficult trial and error gaming in their arsenal, you really can't go wrong by playing Cuphead. I just hope that the DLC will come as soon as possible, as it's been delayed a few times already, which is quite sad, as this game needs more content for all the fans out there. At number 2 spot we have a game developed by Hazelight Studios called A Way Out that is designed with co-op in mind, as you simply cannot play this game alone. It's an action-adventure game where Vincent and Leo needs to do a prison break, and in order to do so they need to cooperate together in different yet difficult situations to come. Each player takes different roles in various scenarios. For example, the other player might have to watch a cutscene while the other needs to do something important in the meanwhile for them to proceed, or the other needs to do distractions for the other player for him to access a certain area to get necessary tools for their escape. It's a very unique approach to the co-op genre of games, which is a great thing because in my honest opinion there should be more good co-op games in today's marketplace. There are also other things to do, such as play minigames, interact with other NPCs and much more, but without spoiling anything for you guys, I'll leave it here and tell you that A Way Out is something totally unique in the co-op genre and therefore it more than well deserves the second spot in this list.
Vincent needs to do something about that guard.
It's hot. Look what you made me do.
Since the co-op games come far in and between, I decided to do an honorable mention section in this top 10 video, so now there will be a short montage showcasing some other good co-op games that could not make it to the list. At the first spot we have none other than the Borderlands series, developed by Gearbox Software, that consists Borderlands 1 to 3 as well as the pre-sequel, that all are really enjoyable games, especially with up to 4 players. These games are first-person loot shooters where you pick up a character, each with different abilities, and take out on various missions to gain experience, monetary rewards and items. Each entry in the franchise has their own knickknacks, but the core gameplay remains the same. There is a storyline given where you proceed further by defeating enemies, completing quests in order to reach the endgame, where things do get more difficult. And the reason I had to put this on the first spot is because there is just so much content within these 4 games, and if you're looking for some shooting fun with friends, you really cannot go wrong by playing the Borderlands series, and therefore these games takes the first spot in my list. Okay, so that covers up the top 10 co-op games list. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like this video as it helps me to grow, and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more great gaming related top 10 videos to come. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite co-op game, and again, thanks for Ada Erika for making this amazing A Way Out thumbnail for this video. Her Instagram info will be on the video description below, and with that said, thanks for watching, my name is Hepodix and have a nice day.